Hey guys, what's going on? It's Blue Extros here and welcome back to another video. Today's video we're going to be covering the top 5 perks in all of Call of Duty Zombies. This will include Call of Duty World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, and of course, Black Ops 3. So with all that said, let's get right into the countdown. Our only honorable mention in this video is going to go to the perk Speed Cola. The reason why Speed Cola wasn't able to make it into the top 5 but is still going to be an honorable mention is because we have weapon kits in Black Ops 3. Since we have weapon kits, Speed Cola isn't really used as much because we have fast mags, which makes your gun reload just as quickly as Speed Cola does, and Speed Cola's the only thing it does is allows your gun to be reloaded faster and allows you to rebuild barriers faster. So this is why Speed Cola doesn't make it onto the list, but in all the other games, Speed Cola is a very good perk to get. Dropping down into the number 5 spot, we have the perk Stamina. Stamina is a perk that was first introduced on Ascension, and it's come back to many of the other maps that we've had in prior years, and in Black Ops 3. This perk is a very good perk for a number of reasons. First of all, it can't hurt the player at all. Stamina increases the movement speed of the player by 7%, meaning that you can get around the map 7% quicker. Training is one of the best strategies in zombies, and without stamina, training can be a little bit harder. Stamina makes training easier than it was before. Stamina can also make guns that are very heavy and are hard to move around with, make lighter and easier to move around with. Stamina also applies to all the guns, so there's no way that you can go wrong with it. It's something that only benefits the player, and it's 2,000 points, so it's not that expensive of a perk either. In the number 4 spot, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, we have Deadshot Daiquiri. What this perk does is it decreases the crosshairs of the player by 30%, meaning that your hip fire is more accurate. It also makes the aim assist lock onto the head rather than the torso. This perk is really underrated, and I know that a lot of people hate it, but I really love it. If you have good aim, Deadshot isn't as useful to you, and I have good aim, but I still like to buy the perk because it just helps me out a little bit. Deadshot in the end will allow you to use less ammo because you'll be aiming for the head, and hipfire will be a little bit more consistent and on target than it was before. So in the end, when you buy Deadshot, you're basically allowing yourself to use less bullets, which is saving ammo, and if you save your ammo and conserve it, you'll get more points for headshots, and you'll also get to higher rounds easier because you won't have to switch out guns as quickly or make changes to your repertoire or arsenal of guns that you have. So Deadshot in the end, it isn't as good as some of the other perks on the list, and I understand that, but I'm putting it at number 4 because it's a perk that helps beginners and also helps players that are advanced get set up and go for high rounds in this game. Coming down into the number 3 spot, we have the perk Double Tap 2.0. Now the reason why Double Tap 2.0 isn't any higher on the list is because it only applies to certain weapons in this game. What it does is it allows bullet firing guns. That means guns that actually fire bullets, not wonder weapons, like things like the ray gun or the Apothecary Servant, for example. It allows bullet firing weapons to fire off 2 bullets for every one. So basically what it does is it increases the damage by firing 2 bullets instead of 1. As you can see in the gameplay here, I have the Argus, and it's firing 2 bullets instead of 1. You can see it on the indents in the boxes that I'm firing at. And it's kind of a weird concept for a perk, but it's a really good perk because it allows you to deal double damage while still using the same amount of ammo. So this perk is really useful for high rounds, especially if you're going to use bullet firing guns. But it's not as useful as the top 2 perks just because of the fact that it doesn't apply to every gun, but it still is a very good perk for setting up and also going to high rounds. Sliding down into the number 2 spot, we have the perk Widow's Wine. This perk was introduced on Shadows of Evil, and it's by far one of the best perks for high rounds and just for casual gameplay purposes. This perk is really useful. Basically, it's Juggernog 2.0 if you want to call it that. I mean, it comes with 4 grenades. Those grenades are like web grenades. They can freeze the zombies in place and they can eventually kill them. but that's not why it's so useful. When you get hit by a zombie, the zombie explodes into this web, and it can get entangled in it and killed. These grenades also refill because drops come from the zombies that were entangled by the grenade, and so this causes you to be able to have basically unlimited hits. The thing is, though, you can run out of the grenades very easily, and that can cause problems, and the perk won't be as useful. Also, one bonus thing that the perk does is it increases your melee damage by just a decent amount. You can one-hit zombies on round 4, but it's not really that big of a deal anyway. The main reason that it's so great is because of the fact that it allows you to have basically more health. So this is why this perk is really good, and it's just not as good as the number 1 perk. That's the only reason that it's on here at number 2, but it's still a very good perk nonetheless. So coming down into the number 1 spot, and I'm sure you guys all guessed it, it's everybody's favorite perk, Juggernog. So the reason why this perk is so great is because it increases the amount of hits you can take. Unlike Widow's Wine, though, you can never run out of the extra hits. In Black Ops 3, the normal amount of hits you can take from a zombie is 3 hits without Juggernog, and you'll die. However, when you have Juggernog, you can take 5 hits from zombies. And those 2 extra hits can make all the difference in training and also in camping, as they can help you get out of sticky situations and also help you to avoid massive problems. Those extra 2 hits are the main reasons why people can make it to such high rounds in zombies, and also why everyone has so much fun in zombies. It makes the game a little bit easier, and it also makes it more enjoyable, as it can be a little bit more relaxed and not as hectic. Because we all know, without Juggernog, the game can be a little bit too hectic. So this is why Jug is number 1. I'm sure you all saw this one coming. I mean, what can you really expect? So if you guys enjoyed this video, or if you want to see more of this type of content, do me a solid and drop me a like. That would be very much appreciated. Maybe even consider subscribing to catch up on all of my daily videos that I upload. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace out and goodbye.